Hello. Hello. Who is here with me? I'd like to know who's here so I could say hello. Judy. Judy number two. Judy number one was in the class before. That's why you're Judy number two, just to not be confusing. I've got Linda number one, Linda number two, Judy number one, Judy number two. Um, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I noticed that I'm getting stronger, especially because, all right, Michael, especially because of the plank. And so the plank challenge is 1 minute plank. And I'm really thinking about adding a 1 minute bridge. So actually, today, the problem with bridge, though, is that I really like to see what you're doing because I can instruct through the bridge. And then it's really important that there's certain things that are important about that bridge pose. So let's see if I'll add that one on. But yeah, that would be great because I notice it within myself. Sharon. All right. See, now you guys get to try other classes. So that's also a good thing, right? Yes, and each class, even though there's many poses that I use that are the same in each class, there's also a focus that I come into this class with. So each class that I teach that has a title or an intention, there's that there with me as well. So now I'm focusing more on the aspects of balance, whether that's in the nervous system or challenging ourselves in different areas, so different planes, putting our body weight into different places. So there's just usually a different intention on different aspects. So yeah, and then perfect. Carol, you're doing this also? Yeah. Um, did I say Carol earlier? I don't even know if I noticed that was Carol. I don't have my glasses on. But you're the one you say you're getting stronger. And I already think you are so strong, Carol. You're one of the people that for me stands out as like, oh my gosh, your strength, your flexibility, and your alignment. It's like, wow. And then, of course, you report back that you have better results from, that your biomarkers are increasing as well. So it's just like, wow. All right. And then, how are you guys doing? I was mentioning in the other class, and I know some of you are here from the other class, that for me, I'm noticing after 4 weeks of this, because it was March 10th was the last time I taught a physical class, that I'm just definitely noticing more, like there was more this kind of energy when it first all began. And then now my energy is a little bit like, okay, here we are, here we stay, we're going to be here. And so it's just a little a heavier energy, I guess I'd say, which is tamasic energy in a yoga sense, tamas versus rajas. And so yoga is about balancing our energy physically, mentally, and emotionally. So we use different aspects of the practice to balance different aspects of us. And with asana, which we do predominant or mostly, I guess we do asana, although I do think there's a lot of meditation and breath work in the class. Um, the asana can help to balance the energy that's crazy by challenging you and burning off energy. And then it can also help to get energy flowing if you felt like you were in a lethargic place. So anyway, all right. Okay, so let's begin with a breathing technique that balances both hemispheres of the brain. And since we are going to pay attention today to the communication in our body as we put ourselves in different places in space, we really want that connectivity and everything, especially up here, to be firing and online. So you're going to come into a seated position. For you, it could be in a chair. I'm sitting up on a bolster. So it could be wherever. I want to say the word comfortable seated, and I don't want that to be an oxymoron for you. So that's what makes it important, is that comfortable seat can take on a very challenging thing for people that are not comfortable sitting. And I think for a long time when I had my hip injury, sitting was not comfortable. So finding wherever you are comfortable so that you have minimal distraction from your physical body. That's what we want. We don't want to be distracted physically. Okay. So come into a comfortable seated position. And then the alternate nostril breathing that we're going to do, it's like this. You're going to take your hand. Let me clarify something here, that here's where all the chat is. You see all the chat? And this part of the screen, depending on how you're viewing me, most devices mirror and some switch it. So it's different, believe it or not, because I've tested it with some other screens and there's been a lot of talk in my yoga community about this. This part of the screen near this chat box is, hi Nancy, this part of the screen is your left side. For most of you, it's your left hand. And if you put your hand out like this, it would be your left hand. If you look at my body, this is actually my right side of my body, but it's on your left side. And then this other part of the screen, this other half over here, is your right side. If you put your hand out like that on this side of the screen, it's your right hand you're putting out, right? Because we're mirroring each other. For some of you, it may not be. And for me, this is my left side. When I teach, I will say, put your left hand out. When you're on this side of the screen, put your left hand out. So if you look at me and you're like, why is she saying left when that's her right side? I'm trying to look at what I see on the screen. And then if I were teaching in a class, it's the way I would teach in a class. I would look out at you and we would be opposite each other. So hopefully that clarifies for some of you. I was reading the whole thread in my yoga therapy group and it was like, oh my gosh. And somebody brought it up to me. So it made me think. And then we tested it with my husband's iPad. And then also with another, and it's like we could see it. I looked back at my previous videos to make sure, oh my gosh, when I say put your left hand out, does it look like my left hand or does it look like their left? So anyway, I guess it's like that. Do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. That's what mirroring brings up. Ooh, I wonder what the origin is of that saying, do as I say, not as I do. Because honestly, when you think about it from a mirroring perspective, if you tell somebody left, 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 and this, so anyway, whatever. Okay. For those of you that practice with me, you know that I'm always questioning things and I stop when I say something to go into a place of inquiry. So that hasn't changed now that I'm at home. All right. So alternate nostril breathing. You're going to take your left hand. Oh, sorry. We are going to use our right hand. So it's the right hand that we use here for alternate nostril. And it doesn't matter. It was asked when I was in India, and they say that they instruct it with they instruct it this way with the right hand. So you're going to do this. You're going to take your pinky finger and your ring finger together, and then your thumb is separate. And this is how you close off your nostrils. You either do your thumb or you do your pinky and your ring. So this is what you're doing here to close off your nostril. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, I was taught that this is the finger we judge with, and we don't want to bring that into this because we're dealing on many layers of our being, not just our physical body and our brain and our breath. So it's the closing off of the left nostril, closing off of the right nostril, closing off left, closing off right. That's what you're going to do. I'm through the right, and then block that off to inhale through the left. And you don't have to, you're just going to listen and your eyes are going to be closed. So just get your right hand ready. If this is good for you. And if it's not, you could do middle finger or whatever works for you. Okay. So let's not make it be too complicated about that. I'll teach you what's traditionally taught, and then it's up to you on how to modify it according to what works for you. And I think that's important. Respecting the tradition and knowing the tradition, but then bringing in what works for you. It's more about doing it than it is about having to do it traditionally correct. And that's been a big life lesson for me. Okay, so let's begin by blocking off the right nostril and breathing in and out through the left nostril only. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. Breathing in and out through the left nostril. And then let's take a breath to prepare. Inhale through the left and exhale through the left. And then let's begin. Inhale through the left nostril. Close off the left nostril. Exhale right. Inhale right nostril. Close off the right nostril. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close off left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close off right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close off left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close off right, exhale left. Continue on your own. You breathe in through one nostril and out fully. Focus on where the breath is coming into the nostrils. And then focus where the breath is leaving the nostrils. Continue with alternate nostril breathing, focusing on and noticing the breath as the breath leaves the nostrils. Take a couple more rounds of breath like this, slowing down the breath so you even out the inhale and the exhale. And you notice the breath on the way in and the breath on the way out. And then finish up your last 2 rounds on each side to complete 4-way through. You're going to end with exhaling through the left nostril. And when you finish exhaling through the left nostril, take your hands down on your thighs, keep your eyes closed. Allow the breath to go back to its natural pace, breathing in and out through 2 nostrils or both nostrils. And then I would like you to gently allow your eyes to blink themselves open. And then I'd like you to notice if there's a shift in the way you feel. Notice if you were able to stimulate any relaxation. So I feel pretty mellow. What I'd like to say is that breath work, what is so beautiful about breath work is breath work. Ooh, it's my music. Breath work is the connection between the conscious and the subconscious. It's the connection between the body and the mind is the breath. So when we actually take control over the breath, we are interweaving or connecting the body and the mind, or the conscious to the subconscious. And a really great description that I'd like to give you is this, that it's like there's a whole, the horses, you know, the horse races where the horses are in those metal gates and they're all jumping and the jockeys are on top of their back and there's a lot of movement. Some of the horses are more hyper than others. That's the starting line when the horses are in the gates. Once the gates open, the speed at which they bolt out of the gate, that speed at which they bolt, and all the movement that happens in the horse is exactly what happens in our brain. We have sensory input from what we see, what we hear, what we smell, taste, and touch, and then sense around us, feel what's in our proximity. You feel that somebody's behind you or something. That causes all the horses to start running. And the horses are actually the biochemicals in the body. And then there's a whole slew of things that's happening. And over time, if that happens over and over and over, which it does, chronic stress, then there's a breakdown and there's a lack of resilience inside, and there's a loss of adaptation internally. That's what all this talk is about stress. That's what's happening. So when we do pranayama, when we intentionally, we're grabbing the reins of the horse. We're actually bringing the horses back to the start line. And we're giving ourselves something to focus on or to concentrate on just here, so that there is no energy fueling them to run away. We brought them back. And in this case, you're feeling the closing off of the nostrils. You're noticing the breath come in and come out of your nostrils. And then you're in your mind saying right side inhale, left side exhale, whatever it is. So you're keeping everything firing up here and keeping the horses here. So a lot of the forms of pranayama, that's some of the mental benefits of them. And then physiologically or metabolically, we're actually slowing down what's happening because we're not releasing those stress hormones. We're not letting the horses run all over the place and tramp and do all the stuff they do. So it's very powerful and very healing. And in yoga, the asana that we're going to do for balance, the physical stuff, is just a very tip of the iceberg of what this practice has to offer. It really is this stress management, stress reduction, and stress withdrawing from sensory input, and then going into that deeper place of letting your body sit in that place for a long time, where the horses are there, they're asleep. And so when you're in that place, that's when all this miraculous stuff happens inside your body. And then your brain can even have a reprogramming. And that's really, like in a nutshell, really yoga. Yoga is to get to that place where the horses are there and you're not even paying attention to the horses anymore. Everything is just, ah. So we did that, and then we're going to do a lot of other things today with the intention of balancing. So that was balancing both hemispheres of the brain. That was balancing, bringing back the horses and not letting them run all over the place. Great. And if there are any questions about that or comments or anything, it doesn't have to be here. I'd love it in email or on my website. You can comment, send comments to me or contact me. My email, I believe, is there, debbie@debbierobinson.com. So anyway, all right. Let's begin. And I want us to begin by allowing as much blood as possible to come to the head, because I would like, when we're going to be in our head for balance and we're going to let this communication happen up and down the body, I want to bring as much back up to the body as we can. So with that said, I'd like you to begin either having your legs on a chair. So make sure you have all your props. Not sure who's here, who's been here before. Bolster, if you have one. This bolster could actually be a pillow or 2 or 3 or 4 from your house. So it doesn't have to be that. Blankets or towels, 2 or 3 would be really great. We are going to use a strap in this class. So this is a yoga strap. For you, it could be a belt out of your closet. It could be the strap off of your robe. Or it could be a towel. And if it is a towel, I recommend a larger towel, kind of like a bath towel, that you then roll up. And you'll use this as your strap. Okay? So find something that you have that. And then we're going to begin. Hi, Dina. I see you. Okay. And then if you have a wall, a great way would be a wall. So to come up against a wall, putting your legs up against a wall, does not matter how close you are to the wall. If you have a wall where you could see me, you could put your legs up the wall. That would be a nice way to start. And if you don't have a wall, then have a chair, or have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 pillows, something to elevate your lower legs pretty high.
And some of you could even raise your pelvis. So if you are in a chair or even up against the wall, you could put underneath your legs a towel or a blanket or a pillow. And I think that that is really nice. That's a really nice thing. Is that now you guys are at home, you could grab a whole slew of props and have everything. And then notice right away if it feels chilly, because once we start to calm down the nervous system and once we start to relax our body and let everything settle, and especially here you're going to be letting the blood move out of the feet, so this could actually be an opportunity for you to get a little chilly. So if that is something that's going to happen for you, then take a blanket and wrap yourself up, especially your feet. We don't want to be distracted by the physical body here. You want the physical body to come into relaxation. And if we're going to stay with the analogy that I was speaking about before with the horses and the gate, we're actually coaxing them back with gravity, going against gravity, and letting everything come back up to the brain, back up to the start line. So let's bring everything to the start line today. So whether your legs are elevated on a bolster, I have a blanket underneath my tushy here, or you're up against the wall. For those of you that want to do that, just find something, and hopefully it's comfortable, and hopefully you're wrapped up. And then it would also be really nice to cover your eyes to block out any light. So if you have something to cover your eyes here, let's let all the fluids come up. Let everything that's pulling in the ankles, the calves, the feet, the knee area, the lower legs, let all that stuff come back up to the body, to the pelvic area, or even all the way up to where the heart is in the head. So increasing the flow of the fluids in your body from down low where the feet are, going against gravity, and allowing everything to come up towards the head and the heart. This is called an inversion. Whenever you've elevated your pelvis above your heart or your head, or whenever your heart is above your head, we're in an inverted position going against gravity. So find what feels appropriate and comfortable for you. And then if you are in Southern California with me today, it's raining. Another oxymoron. California and rain. We started off with easy seated. Not oxymorons. They can happen. Let your arms be out to the sides if that feels comfortable for you, if it doesn't bring too much discomfort into the body. The beginning is about comfort, letting all of the stuff happen. We're not trying to do anything in particular here. Bringing your awareness to your breath, closing your eyes. Keep the mouth closed, gently close the mouth so that the lips gently touch and the lower teeth are separated. Let the lower teeth be separated, the back teeth, sorry, the back teeth. Let them separate. I'd like you to bring your awareness first to your chest and feel the chest move with breath. So as if your eyeballs turn down to your chest. So you have your arms out to the side, and if that's uncomfortable and if you're cold at all, you can bring your arms onto your body, onto your belly. And then bring your awareness to your chest. And breathe into your chest where your ribs are. Feel the chest expand on your inhale as big as you could breathe, so as deep as you could breathe, so that you feel as much stretching as possible in your ribs. If you're in Southern California, you could listen to the rain. If you hear birds outside, you could listen to birds. Be very present in this moment, right here. Notice if your mind starts to wander. It's the nature of the mind to wander. Our goal is not to stop the mind from wandering. Breathing into your chest and your rib cage. Feel as you breathe in, it starts to move, and near the top of the inhalation, feel the stretch happening in your body. We need the horses to come back. We need them to be at the start line so that we could get the body to transmit the aspects of balance, the neuromuscular communication, the proprioceptive nervous system. So bring your awareness to your breath and feel your chest expand as you inhale. Be very present and be in your body. And then you're going to bring your awareness to your belly, right below the lower ribs, right where the lower ribs begin and then the belly. And breathe down to the lower ribs and to the belly. If your hands are on your belly, feel your belly rise. And if your hands are not on your belly, notice your belly move with breath. Aligning the lower rib cage is a diaphragm. Feel the diaphragm pressing up against your stomach and all your intestines, your liver, your pancreas, and feel your belly getting bigger as your diaphragm presses up against all of these organs of digestion. Feel your belly stretch. Visualize the diaphragm. It's like a parachute. As you inhale, it moves away from you towards your feet like a parachute if you were upside down. And then as you exhale, it pushes up to push the breath out of the lungs. If you want to think of it more in a flowing sense, visualize a huge manta ray floating in the ocean, flapping its wings in one direction and then in the other. Let your diaphragm take on that gentle wave-like movement. Inhaling, pressing down towards your pelvis. Inhaling, that's your inhale. And on your exhale, it pushes up towards your lungs, towards your face. Be in your body. Take 3 more deep, intentional breaths down to your belly, letting the belly rise and letting the belly fall. Last breath. When you finish the breath, just allow the breath to go. Bring your awareness to your fingers, your toes, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. And then, depending on where you are, if you have something underneath your pelvis, remove that out to the side. If you have a blanket over you, take that off. And then bring your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Feel that lower back in the gentle massage. And roll onto your right side and lead with your left shoulder to push yourself up.
So that first part of class was balancing the nervous system and balancing the metabolic and biochemical aspects of you, your physiology, which is really important because a lot of what's happening now with this pandemic is the understanding that pre-existing conditions, which are mostly metabolic, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, most of those are metabolic, or those are all metabolic. And many pre-existing conditions are internal with our biochemistry and our physiology. So using breath work and bringing your awareness to your mind is huge for helping to heal, for your body to go to a place of healing and repairing. Very important. We don't live there often enough. And that's why that chronic stress leads to a lot of those metabolic conditions. Okay. Our body is actually a miraculous healing machine if we get out of the way and let it do that. So I'd like you, and that's what that is. That's what that first part was. It was setting you up to go into repair zone. So have your strap or a towel, if you're using a towel, have a strap or a towel handy. I want to have a clean space visually. Come up onto your sits bones. Let's do a little Navasana to wake our body up. That was a lot of slow stuff to begin class. So come here and balance yourself right away, balancing ourselves on our tailbone and coming with your hands off if you can. For those of you that can't, you're going to hold on with your hands. But if you could bring your hands off, try to balance on your tailbone here. You could try to straighten one leg at a time if that's something that works for you. Stay here in Nirvasa. Lift your chest up when you do this. Contract your core, push your belly button back towards your spine, and then press the lower ribs towards your back to really fire up the midsection of your body. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. That was just a little wake up, okay? If you do not have osteoporosis, you could roll down with me. If you have osteoporosis, I want you to go to the side to come onto the floor. If you do not have osteoporosis, let's try to roll down using the core. This is the core is going to help you do this. Contract your core, push your low belly towards your spine to bring yourself slowly all the way down to the floor. Take a blanket underneath your head, probably a little bit more than less, because we're going to do some leg stretching here. Take your legs as wide as your mat. Let's do a little bit of side to side windshield wiper action to lengthen the hip flexor muscles. So this is good for getting some of that sitting that a lot of us have been doing out of our body. When your leg comes into the middle, let it move away from you as well. So it comes in and away, lengthening out of that hip joint. And go slow and be in your body, especially those of you that have issues in your tissues. So if you're someone that has issues in your body, meaning any discomfort, pain, or injuries, be in the places when you move to see what feels appropriate for you. And hopefully that was a nice setup that we just did with our body to relax the body, to release or remove some of the tension and some of the factors that can contribute to the sensations of pain. Bring yourself
back to center. Let's take our legs, take your one leg long, bring one leg in, draw that leg in, straighten that other leg as long as you can. Take your leg that you have in and open up your leg to the side. Bring it back to center. Open it up to the side. Feel that stretch on your inner thigh. Back to center. And then open out to the side. Bring your leg in. And then let's bring your leg across your body into a twist. So if you have low back issues, be in your low back here. Contract your core. Push your belly button to your spine. You could take the foot and put the foot on the top of the thigh. That's actually a little bit helpful for some. And then notice what you notice in your body, just a little gentle stretch. Bring yourself back to center, and then let's switch. Bring the opposite leg in, straighten the other leg, drawing that knee in. You could do a little wriggle, wriggle, wriggle if you'd like, just stretching muscles that were contracted from sitting. And then you're going to open that leg to the side, bring it back to center, open that leg to the side, bring it back to center. One more time, open to the side, bring it back to center. Then you're going to twist. So you could place the foot on the other thigh and let your body twist over to the other side. Turn the palm up towards the sky. Deep breaths down to your belly here. One more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Take your legs, bring your legs in, bring them both in. Let's unbend and bend the legs. Put your right foot on the floor, take your left foot, point the left foot strongly, and then inhale, flex. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point. I want you to feel that strong stretch here as you inhale. And as you exhale, I'd like you to feel that stretch in your calf. Inhale and exhale, and then circle one direction, circle the other direction. And then I'm going to take you to this knee joint and do a little bit of circles. See if that feels okay for you to do circles in one direction, circles in the other direction. And then holding onto that thigh, bring that leg all the way straight if you can. Try to straighten the leg whichever way you can. You've got the other knee bent. This should be a little helpful for that. And then draw that leg straight back towards the wall behind you. Feel the stretch wherever you feel the stretch, stretching that hamstring. Some people report that they feel it in other areas of the legs. Just wherever you feel it is fine. Come back to center. Let your leg go off to the side. So this is your left leg going off to the left. And then draw the leg straight back towards the wall behind you, really pulling that leg back. Feel a different section of your hamstring stretching. Bring yourself back to center. Take the leg across the midline. Be careful if you have a hip replacement, especially an anterior hip replacement here. So if you know that that's you and you're not supposed to go across the midline, don't. And if not, you're going to go across the midline and draw your left leg over towards your right shoulder. And just notice what you feel when you feel it. Bring yourself back to center. The interesting thing about that stretch is that, yes, it's stretching the hamstring area. That's the intention of that. But depending on whether your leg is internal or external rotated, depending where the hip is in the joint, there can be some impingement that takes place of some nerves that you might feel up your leg, or you might feel tightness in different sides. So what I find is that it's not always a one-size-fits-all model. Let's take the right leg in the air. Inhale to point the foot. Exhale to straighten or to flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. And then circles in one direction. Circles in the other direction. And then we're going to get the knee. So I'm trying to lubricate the joints so that when we come to standing and we do a little balance in our legs, we need that communication to come from the feet. Want to open up all the tissue, relax all the tissue. Let's take an inhale and exhale 3 times to bend and straighten this leg. I'm not sure if we got to that, but I wanted to warm up and bring blood to that hamstring before we stretch it. Coming to a straight leg position, you're going to draw the leg straight back towards the wall behind you. The intention here is the hamstring, Maybe you feel it there, maybe you feel it somewhere else. Just as long as you feel something, it's all that matters. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your leg out to the right and then draw it straight back. One thing I've noticed in my own body from having an injury and all my surgeries, and then also from teaching, is that we don't all feel it in the same place and we don't all have the same issues in our tissues. We don't all have the same alignment. Bring yourself back to center and then draw your leg over across the midline. Again, paying attention to those with anterior hip replacements, bringing your leg towards the right shoulder or left shoulder. Um, so you have to be in your body to feel what's happening is the point here, and to keep yourself safe. And so developing body awareness is one of the most amazing aspects of the yoga practice to me. It's the thing that I have enjoyed the most is how much I've learned about my own body and how to keep my body safe and what I need and what I don't like or want. Bring the left foot in and take your strap on the left foot. So I'd like you to have a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt from your closet. You could use a towel as a strap, or you could use the strap from a robe. So whatever feels appropriate, whatever. So you get this tension, and then take your right leg, straighten your right leg. Walk your hands up, hold onto that strap, a little deeper stretch than what we just did. Firm up your right leg into the floor, and then stretch your left leg. And remember, if it looks different for you, I'd like you to be doing your left leg first. I find that quite often that's a little bit of the less used leg. Most people seem to be using the right leg, although not always, but it's mostly the case. So of course, not everyone, but the majority. Then you're going to bring yourself to one more breath. And then you're going to take the strap on the foot. So it's right above the arch. It's not exactly in the arch. And take the strap in your right hand. And I'd like you to draw the leg over to the right. So draw the leg over to the right, feeling something along the outer edge of the left foot. And then push into the strap where the arch is. That's important. Don't let it be the pinky toe that's pushing in. Push in where the arch is, and you'll feel that stretch up on the side of your leg. That's your lateral chain. And it's really important for balance to have the lateral chain act in action here. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's bring the strap into the arch now, and I want you to stretch your ankle. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull on the strap that's in the right hand so that the sole of the foot starts to face to the right. The sole of your foot is facing to the right, or to what you're looking at. Well, I guess that would depend how you're sitting, maybe. Yeah, that would depend what your view is. But if you look at my foot, my sole of my foot's pointing up towards the sky, or I'm only moving the foot. This is not a knee joint movement. The kneecap is still facing me, and I didn't move my leg at all. I'm stretching my ankle on the outer edge of my ankle. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's bring the right leg up into the strap. Take the left foot onto the floor, straighten the left leg, and then come into a straight right leg. So left leg is straight, right leg is straight. You're pulling the leg back towards the back wall behind you. Take one more breath here. And then go ahead and release. We're going to do that lateral chain stretch. So you're going to take the strap in your left hand, straighten your right leg, and then you're going to draw your right leg straight over to the left. Feel that stretch coming into the outer edge of your right hip, and then push your big toe edge, your arch into the strap, not the pinky toe. So you try to face your sole of your foot up towards the sky. Let the leg go to wherever it feels okay. And then for those of you with posterior hip replacements, meaning you have your incision at the back of your body, got to be careful here if you've been told to be careful. Okay, this is where I have my hip replacement is posteriorly on, this is my left side, even though I have you on your right side. This is my left side. Although my doctor told me I have no limitations. And I'm like, really? Does he know what I'm doing? Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Let's stretch that ankle joint. So we're this whole lateral chain. We did the lateral lower. Now we're going to get that ankle joint here. You take the strap holding one piece in one hand or the belt or whatever you have, and you pull on the strap in your left hand so that your right sole faces to the left. And you feel that stretch in that right ankle joint. Your kneecap is still facing your face. You didn't let your leg turn. This is a hard one to instruct like this. I usually need to be in class to look at bodies to really see what's happening. So hopefully for those of you that are here with me that don't normally practice with me, hopefully you're able to get this because it's a really important stretch for the communication of the body for balance. And then it's also an important stretch so that you don't fall and injure yourself. Or if you do misstep, that you have more play in your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, and all the soft tissue of that ankle joint. All right, let's go ahead, take yourself out of that. Bring your knees to your chest, rocking side to side. Let's rock all the way to the right side. Oh, wait, sorry, bridge pose. Come back here. Bridge pose, to me, is one of the most beneficial poses that I teach in almost every class. If you have a block, I'd like you to have a block. If you don't, fold up a blanket or roll up a blanket. And if you're somebody that has herniated discs, this is therapeutic for realigning the lumbar spine. Take your blanket away from the back of the head. Bring your hands down alongside your body. Your feet are block or blanket distance. So don't have your feet pretty close together. Don't have the feet out and the knees together. Have the feet pretty close together. Walk the feet as close as you could get them to the body. And then you're going to push your feet into the floor, squeeze the block, contract your core, and lift your pelvis off the floor as high as you can comfortably. The arms are straight. For those of you that know how to clasp. And for those of you that don't, you're going to bend your elbows, press your elbows into the floor. That can help you lift your rib cage. Fingertips are up towards the sky. Do not look side to side here. Your nose stays pointing up towards the ceiling the whole time. Squeeze the block or the blanket between your knees. Contract your core, contract your glutes, and move your knees away from you. Three more breaths here. At the end of that last breath, you're going to slowly, slowly, slowly let your body come down. So that strengthens the back of your body, known as your posterior chain. I find that to be very beneficial for people with back issues, for people with joint issues, the knees and the hips. Bring your knees into your chest. Really important to strengthen the back of the body. And then you're going to rock side to side. And then rock all the way onto your right side, using your left hand to push you up to a seated position. We're going to come on to, I'll leave that there. Okay. You're going to take your blanket and bring your blanket underneath your knees. So if you have knee issues, use a little more support. You may need a little more support, so do that if you need that. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for some of you and you're able to stay with me. Come onto all fours so your pointer fingers are pointing forward and your hands are right underneath your shoulders. You're going to inhale, take your left hand out and your right leg back. So you're not looking to do the same side as you're doing. So you're going to take your left hand out and your right leg back. They're straight. You're going to inhale left hand and your right leg, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift your left hand and your right leg, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift your left hand and your right leg, inhale to lower. And one more time, sorry, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift your left hand, right leg, stay here. Your right leg is pointing away from you, your left hand is pointing away from you. If you want a little more, you can take your left foot off the floor. If you want a little more, you can take your left hand out to the left. And if you want a little more, you can bring your right leg out to the right. Do what's appropriate for you. You don't have to do any of this. You could do all of it, you could do none of it. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's do the other side. Take your left hand onto the floor, take your right knee back down, slide your left leg away from you, slide your right hand away from you. Inhale, lift the left leg off and the right hand off. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Last time. Inhale to rise. Reach your right hand away, reach your left leg away. Get nice and long in your torso here. If you want more, you can take your right foot off. You can bring your right hand out to the side. You can bring your left leg out to the left. You don't have to do any of that. It's just a suggestion. Challenge yourself with balance. We're very close to the floor here, so see what feels okay for you. And then go ahead and bring yourself back to a neutral position. And then come all the way back onto your heels if you can sit on your heels. Otherwise, sit nice and tall and we're going to roll out our wrists. So that pose is called balancing cat, or it's called spinal balance. And it's a really great indicator and a really good feedback system for you to see how strong your balance is getting. And that's one I like to do because we're so close to the floor. So the extra steps I was giving you was to just give a little bit more challenge to yourself to take your feet off. And for some of you that are not ready for that, don't worry. Maybe one day you will be ready for it, or maybe not, and it doesn't matter. Just doing whatever you can do is what's important. Okay, so I am doing a 1 minute plank challenge now. I've been doing a 1 minute plank challenge this whole time that we've been virtual together. And it's been really great because you'll notice that the one we just did, the balancing cat, is a really great way for me to notice that people are getting stronger, but also for them to notice. So I do that a lot, especially in beginning classes or in balance classes. I teach that pose and I like people to see. And then I would say that plank is another type of pose that you start to notice how strong you're getting in your body. Because if you do this for a certain time, you'll notice, say you do a 30-minute plank, and then after a month, you'll realize that near the end of that month, it's getting easier and easier to do that 30 minutes. And so this is another really great way to see how strong you're getting, which can also mean that it might show you that you might feel weak. So I don't want you to go to that place right now, especially if you've not been practicing this. We're gonna do a dolphin plank, which is a forearm plank. You're gonna take your block, and you see how my elbows are really close together. They're not out to the side. That's one of the more important things here, is that your elbows are close together and not out to the side. If you don't have a block, you put your forearms on the floor like this, not like this, okay? There is other ways that it can be taught where you have like a triangle shape, but we're gonna do this like this. I wanna be really nice and linear, and this is balance. I really wanna work very linear and structural today. So the options here are that you could be in a full dolphin, or you could put your lower legs on the floor and your lower legs in your knees. And any of them is okay to do. And it's really important that you do what's appropriate for you. And maybe it is good that we're at home, because when we're at home, we're not worried about others seeing us. And so you do what's right for you. And especially if you've got something going on, you've got issues in your tissues or an injury, or
Maybe your energy just isn't quite up there. You don't want to burn through too much energy. You want to preserve what you have. So maybe you need to do the modified version. And there's still a lot of strengthening in that. So we're going to come forward. Your knees are on your mat. You're going to walk your hands forward to wherever you need to be. Then you're going to pick your feet off the floor, pick your knees off the floor, and come into your dolphin plank. You're going to push your body weight back so that your heels move back, and you reach out the very center of your head. If you have a block in between your hands, you're going to push your pointer fingers into that block. And then we're all going to dig our elbows into the floor. So dig your elbows and your forearms into the floor and draw them back towards your feet strongly. You're going to feel how that turns on the deep hip flexors, the psoas. If you would like to do a little challenge here, lift your right foot off the floor. Place that down and then try to lift the left off. And then place that down. Push your heels back, reach through the crown of the head, dig your elbows in, draw your elbows back towards your feet. And then go ahead and lower down. Woo! Bring your pelvis back so that you're on top of your pelvis is on your blanket. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And then bring your head all the way down into the floor. Bring your hands down alongside your body. Your forehead and your nose touch the floor. And then you're going to inhale, reach out of your head, reach out of your feet, reach out of your hands. Lift your hands off the floor. Lift your legs off the floor. Lift your head off the floor. Lift everything off the floor. Reach your hands away, reach your head away, reach your feet away. This is locust pose. And you're lifting up against gravity. This is a posterior chain to help with posture, to help with balance, to help with joint alignment, which is helpful for better communication of the neuromuscular system and the balance aspects. If you'd like to bring your arms out to the side, you can come out to the side in scarecrow arms, reaching your legs away, reaching your head away, breathing down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then fold your hands one on top of the other. Let your forehead rest on the top of the back of the hands. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth, side to side. Take your right hand, reach your right hand up to the middle of, or away from you. Roll onto your right side. And then leading with your left shoulder, push yourself slowly up to seated. So yeah, we did start class off today a little slow in terms of strength. We were doing nervous system balance. And now that was more of the strengthening section. And now we're going to move into more balance, challenging balance. And we did a little there as well. So far, we balanced on our tailbone with our Navasana. We balanced in balancing cat on one hand, one leg. All right, come all the way up here. Bring a leg forward. Take the back leg back. And then push yourself forward and up. And come all the way up to standing. So for this part of class, I would like for you to have a chair or the wall. I'd like you to have a chair or a wall. So the wall or the chair. And then the first thing we're going to do, we're going to do a little side-to-side movement. If it feels safe for you to have the chair in front of you, you can have the chair in front of you. I'm just going to do it at the side because I think it's easier for you to see, and I don't want to block what I'm doing. You can also be near the wall. First thing you're going to do is you're just going to come with your legs a little bit wider than body, and you're going to go back and forth Let your body weight go all the way onto your right foot or all the way onto this side, all the way onto this side. So even though the other foot is on the floor still, I feel that all my body weight, I want you to feel that inside yourself. I want you to feel that all your body weight goes there without shifting hips or anything. Feel that all the weight goes there, all the weight goes there. And I want you to come back to center. I want you to feel that all the weight goes forward and then all the weight goes back, forward and back. When you go forward, you can use your toes to really stop yourself from coming forward. When you go back, when the toes come off, it really presses the heels in. So first thing is the toes come off so that all the weight goes into the back, which really fires up that posterior chain, forward and back. Then I want you to come back to center. I want you to take your feet all the way to touch the big toes, not the heels. The heels don't touch because the front of your feet is wider than the back of the feet. So if you touch the big toes and you're in nice proper alignment, your heels will still be apart. And I want you to try that same thing here, going side to side. And notice how when the feet are closer together, a little harder to do this. Coming forward and back. And forward and back. Forward and back. Staying where you are here, let's push your weight over to this side. So it's your right side. Push your weight over to your right side. And then come onto the tippy toe of this foot. For most of you, left foot. Come onto the tippy toe. And then just lift the tippy toe off the floor. So the foot is forward. Don't let it be right near your body. Let it be forward. Feel your ankle joint going through supination and pronation. It's an ankle joint move. And then push the big toe into the floor like crazy. Push the big toe into the floor so you see something or you feel something in your right hip turning on. Push that right big toe into the floor like crazy. Feel something happening there. Then let the right toe lift off the floor. See, and see how your weight goes back into your heel. So just allowing the body, go ahead and lower that foot. We're not in class for you to tell me, oh yeah, I feel that, I notice that. We're trying to move the body through all of the pathways. The kinetic chain, when we push the big toes into the floor, it starts to fire up this whole lateral chain, which is why we did a lot of the stretching and opening up the lateral chain. So bring your feet together. You're going to push your body weight now to this side. So this side of the screen for you by the chat, which is probably your left, and then come onto your right tippy toe. Then you're going to lift your right toe off the floor. So the right tippy toe went forward. It doesn't just come off the floor. It wasn't my knee that went forward. It was my foot that went forward of my knee. And then I lift my foot off the floor. And I just notice what's happening at first when I come on. I notice all parts of my foot, right underneath the big toe, right underneath the pinky toe, right on the back heel, on the inside and on the outside. Now I want you to strongly push that left big toe into the floor, like very, very strong, and see if you feel stuff here turning on. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. This is my hip replacement side, so there isn't as much communication in certain ways. It's very interesting. Okay, now I want you to lift your left toe off. Ooh. Sorry, lift your left toe off. Oh wait, that's not my hip replacement. That's my other side. So I'm mirroring you. Yeah. Okay. Lifting the toes off, the body weight goes back into the glute area. And then go ahead and come out of that. And then shake. So from the side, that looks like this when I lift my leg. So you probably were feeling your quads fire up and your hip flexors, strengthening the quads and hip flexors to do that. Okay. Let's stand on this side foot, whatever it is for you, probably your right, and take your left leg out to the left. And then straighten your right leg like crazy. Let it be stick straight. So there's no bend in the knee whatsoever. Notice what's happening to your toes. Notice what's happening to your foot. And now I want you to bend your knee. So bend that right knee and notice that the knee starts to get involved in this now as well. And then go ahead and come out. Let's come over to the other side. Let's push your body weight over to that other foot on this side of the screen. For most of you, left leg. Bring the right leg up. Stick straight leg, stick straight. Notice where you feel it, what you feel. And then bend the knee. And then go ahead and come down. So I don't know about you guys, but I will say that I am feeling a lot of my lateral chain. That was really getting a lifting away against gravity there. So I'm feeling the muscles on the side of my body. That was glute med, the middle glute there. And that's really important for hip health, for, I'm going to say what they say in physical therapy, look at the neighbors if there's an issue. So I'm going to say for hip health, but also for low back health, which is the next neighbor, and then knees. Okay. Let's, if you could be either be near a wall or be near your chair. I'm just pulling at my legs so you can see me. You're going to rise up on top of the tippy toes and then come down. Try to come really high up. So try to get your heels to come really far away from the floor. Don't just be like this. Try to bend the toes a lot. Bend the toes a lot. If you're near the wall, you have your fingers on the wall and you're lifting up, lifting your feet away from the floor. Next time you come up, stay up and walk around on your bent toes. So your toes are bent. You're like wearing high heels. Your heels are really high away. Ooh, your heels are really high away from the floor. And then just walk around in place. Make sure your pinky toe is touching as well. Let's do a little lateral movement side to side. And then come back to center. Flip your toes under. So we're really getting your balance muscles, the parts of your body that you need for balance, getting a lot of work. Okay, we're going to do a balance pose to end, and we're going to do tree pose, which is a very basic traditional pose. It's been used, or it's found a lot in hieroglyphics in caves, and it's one of the oldest images around the physical part of the practice of yoga. So let's do the left leg first. You're gonna, on this side of wherever this side of your screen is, if it's your left leg, we're gonna come here. You're gonna push your body weight over. If you need a chair, have a chair there. Bring your knee out to the side and bring your foot up so it's in between your knee joint and your ankle joint. Then you're gonna lift your chest, your clavicle bones up and bring your arms out to the side. Deep breaths down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then let's go ahead and come out of that. We're going to go to the other side, so you can either use your wall or you could take your chair to the other side of the mat. You're going to bring your body weight onto this side of the screen, whatever that is for you. For most of you, it's your right foot. Bring your body weight over, come onto your tippy toes, let your knee go out to the side, and then bring your foot up in between your ankle and your knee and bring your hands up. Look straight ahead, let your clavicle bones lift up. Arms are out to the sides. Look straight ahead. Try to pick a point that is straight in front of you, that's about the diameter of a quarter. Take one more breath. And then let's go ahead and come down. Perfect. Good, good. Nice work. All right. So believe it or not, it is time for our Shavasana, which is another lovely opportunity for you to relax the body and the mind and to integrate the body and the mind. So we began today allowing everything to come to the head, and now we stood for a while and let everything go down to the feet. I'd love it if you came back into an inversion of some sort. So it could be even that you have the pillows underneath your legs and your feet, or your legs are back up the chair, or you find yourself back against the wall. So come into whatever is comfortable for you. If we were in class at this point, I would actually be passing out essential oils. So we're not in class. And if you do have oils at home, you could do that. Or you could just visualize that you're in a beautiful field of flowers, of very aromatic roses, or a flower of choice.
You could be in Bali smelling the beautiful frangipani, also known as plumeria. Wherever you are, let it be comfortable. So gently begin to bring your awareness to your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to move your ankles and your wrists. And then gently bringing the knees in towards the chest. Press the top thighs up against the low belly. Let that press the back into the floor and rock side to side. Bringing yourself onto your right side. Pushing your left hand into the floor to bring yourself all the way up to seated. Finding a comfortable seated position. We're going to close the practice with sound. We're going to use the sound Om, blending the Ah, the O, and the sound. Bringing that all the way from the base of the spine up into the throat. Take your hands together, rubbing your hands together. Let the thumbs touch the sternum bone. Take a deep breath down to the belly. We bow our heads to each other in Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for balancing with me. It's so nice to listen to the rain outside the window, outside the house. I can hear all the water running down the roof and then down the rain gutters. So it's a very calming. Actually, water can be very calming, especially for the mind. Talking about the beginning of class with the horses that are in the gate and how much energy they have ready to just take off. And so water is actually very grounding for mental energy. Can be. The qualities of water can be very grounding for mental energy. Water and earth. So this can be grounding for anxiety. This kind of weather can be grounding for anxiety. And it can be very heavy for depression. So noticing what your emotions are right now that you're experiencing and balancing out the energetics there. So if your emotions now with this pandemic are more heavy and in the place of depression and what's going to happen, or well, the what's going to happen is going to be more futuristic, but just in more of a depressive place, then you need a little bit more light and a little more fire to burn up or to bring you out of that place. And then if you find yourself in the place of fear and worry of the unknown, the fear of the future, then you want to bring yourself into grounding. You want to balance with grounding energy. And water and earth element are very good for that. So I'd like to hear, let me see, Sharon. Okay, great. Sharon, yep, good balance. And then Michael, thank you. The rain is really, really great. Oh, I wonder if my husband did the class. I hope so. I've been telling him, this one's for you. This one's for you. You got to do this one. You got to do this one. Of course, because I'm living with him 24/7. So I know what he needs or feel, sorry, not, I don't know what he needs. I have some ideas of what I think could be very helpful for him. How's that? See? All right. Thank you for joining me. My next class will be Saturday, Yoga for Stress Reduction. Please share this with anyone you think would like to join. Subscription is right below there. If you're not subscribed, I think most of you are.
And then thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Um, oh, great. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again. I look forward to being with you. This is what keeps me going. And it's so nice that we're all here with each other. So thank you so much for showing up. And yep, I will see you in the next one. Yoga for stress reduction.